We're out here north of Quinlan, Texas today, and we're going to cut a big pine tree down. This pine tree is rather large. It is, that's north, so north to south dimensions on this thing is 32 inches. But the east to west dimensions on this thing is 38 inches. So it's a little oval. It goes from 32 to 38 inches. So we're fixing to fall it. The problem is this tree is wanting to fall this way into this house that's over here. And the way we want it to fall is right that way. So to do that, we got one pulling cable and we got this other cable that's going to pull back on the tree to keep it from getting in the house. So once we get a notch cut in it, we'll start tightening those cables up and use them to help pull us down. So then Jason's fixing to get after it here.
Big long ones right there.
Yeah, this is regular ones. These are extra longs. If we need them, need a double wedge, okay, that's what those are good for. What I'm doing here is clearing out an escape path. Remember I said this tree was dead. That means we don't know the condition of the wood inside this tree. Anything could happen. We could start cutting and have this thing just explode and splinter off. So I want to make sure about the unknown factors that I have plenty of room to run if things go south on me. All right, isn't it? And then we need it this way just a little to take care of the lean. Think it's good? Where you want it, but I think it's just behind you. I think we're good. After examining that our flat end bottom cut was in line with where we want the tree to fall, we begin cutting the top part of our wedge out. This will further see that it falls exactly where we want it to go.
It's going to need some, but I don't think it's going to need more. I don't want to try to pull that tree over that direction.
But the problem is when it starts falling, it's going to get loose. So it's got to have some pressure, because if it ever starts falling this way, it'll break that cable. Yeah. We can't ever let it get started. Right. Is the deal. Okay, but on the winch is fine. You can do that. Now we're starting to tighten up our cable that's going to pull the tree sideways a little bit to keep it from going toward the house. This will put about 15,000 pounds of pressure if we pulled on it all the way. Really, we don't want to pull the tree over this way. We just want to take some of the lean pressure out of it. So we'll keep tightening this cable periodically as we see which level of pull we need with this setup. Now there's a small pecan tree there just to the right of the big tree we're trying to take down. What this angle shows is how high we can set the choker in the tree so that when the tree falls, the choker don't literally rip that small pecan tree apart. So that all has to be measured and calculated. Also, this swinging snatch block that is up there, that must be precisely put at the right angle. So when the tree falls over, the snatch block doesn't shift or let the cable pull to where it gets in that pecan tree. But it must be at the right angle also to pull on the tree. Now what you'll see me start doing now that we've got a cut on the back side of the tree is real quick I'm going to put some wedges in there. And I will keep following up, driving those wedges deeper and deeper so that that tree cannot set back on my chainsaw and trap it. I'll keep following them up, but notice they're already halfway in the tree. I will keep on till these wedges are almost all the way in. And then I will go back and you'll see me grab some orange wedges out of the satchel. Those are not 8-inch wedges, but full 12-inch wedges. And then we will start using those to double wedge it. When you got a tree this large, you often have to double wedge it to get it to tilt enough. You don't really have that issue with a small tree in the 12-18-inch range. But when a big tree like this, you often have to double wedge it to get enough tilt on it.
Yeah, you'll have to wait. Not the time for a phone call.
As you see, I'm keeping those wedges tight all the time, and then I'll go make a little bit of cut. Now watch those wedges real close right there. Watch them real close. Do you see where the tree's starting to go and the wedges starting to get loose? You got to stop and get them chopped again. You never want the tree to give a chance to go back the way you don't want it to go. So we'll knock those wedges in, then we'll go nibble on the tree a little bit more. All this will make sure it goes down in the proper place at the proper time. As you can see, I have driven these 12-inch wedges doubled all the way in the tree, so the gap's getting pretty wide there. Now what you're seeing is me signaling the winch man to tighten that cable that's going to pull this tree north. And when that frantic waving means keep pulling hard, because the tree is going. Right now it is in tilt mode and falling over. Back to where I was trimming and wedging. And Now I'm signaling it for him to pull that cable, and it's going to finish pulling the tree over. It was going to set straight up on that stump, I guess. I had to cut it nearly all the way through to get it to break loose. It was just going to sit there. Well, we didn't hurt our tree really. I mean, a few limbs kind of hit it. And we're not, but just a little off. All we done was kind of hit a cedar tree down there, wasn't it? Didn't tear the fence up. So we're within our, we've been better if the top had fell 10 foot to the left, but it's just fine like it is.
Well, I feel like that's because of what we were, what's that wood look like there on that?
Oh, it's good. If you look at, that's some good wood in there. That thing's still alive, and it's not punky, and the center's not rotten.
Right.
It's good wood. It will work. Woo. I just know this. I gotta sit down and take a break. It wears on an old man. He's piling it awful high there.
Well, that was a little bit laziness on my part. Trimming that branch.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta cut them off.
But when it goes into that brush pile,
Well, it'll burn if I can get there. That's it. Now the work really begins. We've got to limb this big thing, and I'm using my tractor to carry it about a quarter of a mile back in the back of this ranch by a big tank where we got a burn pile. So we're gonna have to make about half a dozen trips back there with brush, but we'll get this thing limbed and loaded.
it's already broken up there on top.
You talking about that one?
Big one.
When I come back, I'll do it first. When I'm empty, yeah, I can pick it.
Bring it down if we can. We might just be able to drag the whole big branch.
It's gonna tear up everything if we try to drag it.
What's that?
It'll tear up the ground.
What if we had a chain on it and had it up in the air and just dragging the branches?
Well, what we can do though is if we can get it cut down, I can just run under each piece, move over and pick up the other piece and the piece and have it on the forks. If we do it, and then we won't make a mess on the ground.
Where do you have in mind to leave saw log and trash? Like where's your line in your mind?
I'll measure it here in a minute.
It looks like just right there somewhere where that branch is broken a little bit.
Yeah, right toward it. 20. Okay, I need to cut the thing 21 feet.
Yeah.
The first log, the big one. And after that, it's just whatever we can salvage.
I kind of almost think that after we get 21 feet, we may be looking at the rest of it as...
We may be, like you said, it's starting to rot. We may find that that's rotting up there.
That small diameter, there may not be no...
Yeah. Well, we'll make that judgment when we get there after we cut it up and look at it. Isn't that going to fall on our fence?
I'm going to try to drop it right through the gate opening.
Okay, let's see you do it. Come on.
Think it'll work?
I don't know. Look at you go. Well, it's supposed to, the forecast was 77 degrees today. Now you remember Wednesday of last week, it was 20 degrees. Yeah. With ice.
Yep.
Now there's still a big branch going out the other side, but it looks like it's broke, doesn't it?
It's broke right there, and it definitely needs trimming. What I was kind of thinking was maybe
we could maybe hook a chain and roll it back this way.
Well, that or get out there and get this branch, and maybe get your.
Well, if I
tractor.
pull this back, then I could go get the limb. All this limbing may seem like it's taken an awful long time, but we started working on rigging this tree and getting it cut down at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we have cut the tree down, we have totally limbed it and cleared off all the brush. And then we loaded the tractor and took it back to the house, and then come back and we loaded this log, and we were back at the house by 3 o'clock. So yeah, there's a lot of work going on, but we got it whipped out all in one day. What you see me pulling on here is the original cable we had hooked to the tree going to the north that we pulled the tree over with. When the tree fell over though, it and all of its limbs fell on the cable, so it was buried to the very last when I had to use a tractor to pull a cable out from under everything. And here we got a saw trapped as we tried to cut off some of the limb knots, so we had to take a minute to free up a chainsaw, get some of the pressure off of it so we could go on and finish limbing this log. Now I'm rolling it over to get it more out in the open airway where we can load this thing on the trailer, get by the stump when we're ready to load. Well, this big log has trapped my ramp down on the ground where I can't get it off the end of the trailer. Couldn't pull it by hand, so I'm going to use a snatch block and one of the winches to suck the thing out from underneath. There it comes. So now we're ready to finish loading up the log, and we got our ramp free. It's going to be loaded for long. This log weighs in at around 9,000 pounds according to a Greenwood chart, so it's not a light piece of wood. Now I have recently modified my trailer with a different battery setup to run my winches with heavier cables on everything, and it's making a world of difference about how quick I can load these heavy logs like this. If you're wondering what all that means is I hope to come out with a future video here for too long about all the modifications I've made to this trailer that allows me to load huge logs of a lot of weight.
What we're going to do here is unload this dog. Greenwood chart says it weighs around 9,000 pounds. So the way I'm going to unload it is use 2 winches, come from the winch to this snatch block, back up in front of the log. Same thing on the other side, and the 2 winches are hooked right in front of this log. So we'll set and run 2 winches at once and just push it off using the snatch block to pull it back this way. That's just the easiest way to unload one of these very heavy logs. So here we go. Let them cool. Since we're pouring extra amperage in them now with this new conversion, where we got these big batteries, we're running hotter, running the winches hotter with more amperage. So we're gonna have to stop and let them cool every once in a while. All right, we'll put a couple of boards under this thing to kind of hold it off the ground a little bit. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the truck in neutral, and when that log hits the ground, it'll start pushing the truck right out from under the log and get us out of the way. All right. Pull on that other winch or it's gonna roll over on you. Hold it, it's trying to turn on us. You know, blocks straight here. Go for it. Keep going. I pull the truck forward, I figured it would eject us off there. Let's get into the fence back there. Okay, run it. Put your blocks in there before it falls off. Okay. What do we need? Okay. Oh, that'll come out when I drive forward. Let's see if I can just run out from under it now. And that should pull that cable too.
I am dropping this log way back in the back because it's too large to fit on a sawmill, and plus I cannot lift that big a log up with that tractor. It'll stay right here till I can get the chainsaw mill out, and we will start cutting it either into slabs or boards like we want right where it lays, because it's too big to move at this point. We've got this log back home. Roughly it's 32 by 38 inches here on this end. The other end's about 29 inches. If you use a Doyle scale, you always figure off the small end of the log. But this thing should produce about 756 board feet of lumber when we get around to cutting it up here in a month or two. So it's going to make a lot of boards, slabs, and other things that I use pine wood for.